discrimination in entertainment. And you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Baratons too, cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another edition of Over to You, a program for the people, by the people. I am honored to be here this evening. Of course, my name is Wayne Caesar, and I am your host as normal. I request of you guys, if you can just go ahead and like the broadcast and share the link accordingly. This is Over to You, a program for the people, absolutely by the people. This is your program. I am here because of you. Welcome, 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 everyone. Down on the ground in Guyana, a pleasant good evening to you. The broader Caribbean, good evening to you. South America, a pleasant good evening to you. North America, the UK, good evening, everyone. All across Europe, the continent of Africa, Australia, New Zealand, pleasant good evening, good morning, whatever it is to you. Welcome again to Over to You on this day, the 18th day of July, 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, it's good to have you here. We're going to go ahead and just do our roll call. Quickly, very quickly this evening, Marcus Paul, Canarsi's in the house. A pleasant good evening to you. Rastaman, good to see you. Good evening. Francis Keith Rycliffe, Melanie Damashano on the east coast of Demerara is in the house. Good to see you, sir. Miss Sandra Hanover, the freedom fighter. And of course, she does a lot supporting this program from the YouTube side. Sandra, a pleasant good evening to you. Welcome to tonight's broadcast. Who else is here? Out your way, a pleasant good evening. Good to see you here. Carla Madu, my good friend. Good to have you here. Miss Mary Figueroa is in the house. Good evening. Dawn Wilson is here. A pleasant good evening to you. Rita Clark is in the house. Good to see you, Miss Clark. Brenda Moore is here. Good evening, Brenda. Welcome to tonight's broadcast. Miss Desiree Smart Felix, our first Canadian in the house. Good evening. Good to see you. Patricia Graves Andy is here. Good night to you. Lawrence McKenzie, a pleasant good evening to you, sir. Jennifer is here. Good evening to Jennifer. Welcome to tonight's broadcast. Miss Darkus John is here. A pleasant good evening to you. Susan London in the house. Good evening. Lester Tom. Mary Figueroa, a second Canadian in the house. Good evening to both of you. The freedom fighter, Maxine Monroe, and Patricia Punch is here. A pleasant good evening to you. Wow. Vigilance on the east coast of Demerara is in the house. A pleasant good evening to you, Patricia. Brenda Henry is here. Good evening, Brenda. Puran Ramdas, Region 2, my good friend. We still haven't connected. Let's try to get that done this week. A pleasant good evening to you. Steve Dunlap, good evening to you. Shondell C. Canterbury's in the house this evening. Good evening, Shondell. Welcome to tonight's broadcast. Myrna Saul is here. Miss Brenda Braithwaite is here. How are you doing, Miss Braithwaite? Good to see you here this evening. Linda Mingo is in the house. Good evening to you, Linda. Patricia Sana is here. Good evening, Patricia. Welcome to tonight's broadcast. Karen Clark is in the house. Good evening, Karen. Comrade Keith Beresford is here. Good evening to you, Keith. Welcome to tonight's broadcast. Akwesi is in the house. Good evening, Akwesi. Long time. Let's try to connect this week, Akwesi. Deslin Wilson. Deslin, why do I feel like if I miss you a couple well programs? Good to have you back. I think I've missed you. I think you was missing in action on the program. Ping me later and let me know. Jennifer Lewis, good evening. Welcome to tonight's broadcast. Dawn Baines is in the house. Good evening, Dawn. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ingrid Carter is in the house. Good to see you, Miss Carter, as usual. Alison Caesar is here. Good evening, Alison. Welcome to tonight's broadcast. Dion is in the house. Good evening, Dion. Welcome to tonight's broadcast. Our executive producer, Mr. Gavin Caesar, as usual, always in the house. Gavin, make sure that you're getting the background work done. Rosemary Martindale Brackett is here. Good to see you, Miss Martindale. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this evening's roll call. I guess a few others will be joining later, but we must get started. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, what's on the agenda? What has the PPP put forth before the Guyanese people this week? The opposition in looking for votes, they're only looking for cow and goat. Y'all been listening to the song, the sing-off that the PPP is having. That's got guys alone, that alone to show you, you understand me, how important governance is to this regime. Right? That alone shows you how important governance is to this regime. But I just want to add, while they might be thinking that this is a funny joke against the opposition, I will say this. If it is that the opposition have to look at cow and goat, right, to uncover corruption, then they're doing their job, they're doing their mandated duty. The opposition is mandated to put checks and balances on government. All right. So they are basically satisfying their mandate. And it kind of make the guy, what's his name, James, man? And these guys, it shows you how much brain they have. It's empty. There's nothing there. Nobody home. What are they smoking? Too much weed? What is it that these guys are smoking? Too much weed? And then they force the people in Guyana to look at them as intellectuals. They're not. Okay? They're not. So, James Bond, you and all your guys that are saying off the opposition in looking for votes. No, the opposition shouldn't be looking for votes. The opposition is executing their duties, and when you're executing your duties, the citizenry in Guyana should understand that when an opposition is mandated to execute their duties and they're executing their duties close to flawlessly, I can say that on the side of the APNU and maybe a couple of the other little small parties, the votes will automatically come, providing that the Guyanese people got to use this $50,000 receiving at the voting booth is not sustainable. And you guys seeing that? I know that can be an option for 2030. You're gonna go back and go to the booth and take 50,000 for 5 more years. Because we're talking about 10,000 a year. Ladies and gentlemen, is who we see for the price of 10 boro. I think it was $100. I can't remember. Or it's more, $400, something, some big amount of money for 10 boro. And you showing up at voting booth and taking $50,000 for 5 years. First of all, you shouldn't be selling your vote. Voting shouldn't be a financial transaction. Okay? I just gotta, when these things come up, we got to get into the whole thing of teaching, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot stop teaching. All right? Good. Okay. The opposition ain't looking for votes. They're only looking for cow and goat. Guyana Livestock Development Association, led by CEO Dr. Waldron. They have come under a lot of fire, a lot of scrutiny. I believe Dr. Waldron would have worked under both administrations. All right? I refuse to lay the blame at his feet because he also have to report higher up the chain. Zulfikar Mustafa. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all sit down in your chair tonight and y'all grab some popcorn and whatever drink y'all want to grab. Because tonight we're going to talk a little bit. Dr. Waldron has to report to Zulfikar. You guys understand what's going on there already. Dr. Waldron is a very knowledgeable individual who understands that job, who understands livestock, right? Hence, he has the DR before his name. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been working in the background, gathering my intelligence. Okay? What would have occurred over this past weekend with regards to GLDA? Those decisions were made at the top. All right? The processes were not put in place the way they should have been put in place. Dr. Waldron has a reputation of being a very strict individual. And when you're strict like that, it will not sit well with certain individuals. All right? Remember with the PPP, we talk about friends, family, and favorites. All right? There's a lot of farmers who are a part of the Guyana Livestock Development Association that takes cows and all type of different animals. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a failure because people come back, oh, cow dead, goat dead, sheep dead, all kind of nonsense. So like the government, who is always sucking the Guyanese people, who is always trying to get over the Guyanese people, they are normal people who are behaving just like them. So with this whole thing that happened with the cows transporting to Brazil and all of this stuff, the government not informing opposition, informing the general public, because these are the type of things you want to inform the public. You want to be transparent on these things. They were not. Dr. Campbell, Comrade Saiku Andrews, and Comrade Sherrod Duncan, they exposed the whole thing. It make the GLDA look bad. But I'll say this to you guys, don't lay it at their feet. It's coming from above. It's above their pay grade. Look to this same PPPC government. All right? It is them. You got contractors. You got engineers. No, not contractors. You have engineers who knows the operations, who would tell you, well, this road needs to be this way or it needs to be that way. And guess what is happening? The engineer who knows how the work should be done is being told to shut up. okay, by ministers in the PPPC government. And the contractor is the one who's leading the operation. Not the engineer directing the contractor, hey, this needs to be 10 inches. This needs to be 6 inches. The thickness of the road, we need it to be 3 feet. That's what we negotiated for. They can't say that. When they say that, a government minister who is linked to that contractor, ladies and gentlemen, remember we talk about procurement? All right. And only certain people can get certain big contracts because they're the one who have the wherewithal, who have the equipment. The normal little man who trying to get into that business goes into those procurement meetings with a major, major disadvantage. So when you guys look at work that is not well done, that wasn't done well, same thing, the government, everything to the government. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we move, I was just browsing through Facebook, and I saw a beautiful piece, nice short piece done by Dr. Campbell. Nice short piece where he's talking about the healthcare system, ladies and gentlemen, something that we've spoken about on this program. Right? And of course, the opposition is going to, have the latitude of, a lot of intelligence before them, more so than I would, who is not on the ground in Guyana, but I do have sources that would give me the necessary needed information. But I want to go back to this piece that Dr. Campbell did, where he highlighted the fact that we have nurses who would have graduated and have started their careers. They're nursing now. They've graduated. They're no longer students. And 7 months in, ladies and gentlemen, no salary. And you know what? It is absolutely true. You know why? Because I've had that report before. I have had that report before. And that person wasn't waiting 9 months, 7 months. It was more than that. 17 months, I believe, pay. Over a year, 17 months pay was owed by the government. How can that be right? How can that be right? We are the quote-unquote fastest growing economy in the world. We are out there talking about development. All right? This is what Irfan Ali and the PPP likes to use as their mandate. Development. Oh, let me put in another word in there that they like to use. Transformation. That was the only big word that Irfan could call, because he's been forced to use it so much. Transformation. That's what they like to talk about. Well, if we are in the process of transformation and development, the way you guys want to talk about it, why are we not paying our nurses and our health practitioners in general? And it's not just the nurses, ladies and gentlemen. It is the doctors also. All right? It is also the doctors. People want their money. They have families to maintain. They have rent to pay. They have all these other expenses. They are already underpaid. And still, Irfan Ali, have you ever not been paid? Has any of your ministers ever experienced a month pass and you haven't been paid? You guys make sure that you are paid, no matter what. You don't just pay yourself, you pay yourself and you take more. No, ladies and gentlemen, there's a couple of things with this. All right. When you talk about the union that represents the nurses, I think that would be Patrick Yard. Look who you have sitting there. What type of representation do you expect? Nurses, I call it like it is. The joke is somewhat on you also. The joke is on you. When the teachers were out there, you know, you guys should have been out there. You guys should not have let Patrick Yard hold y'all back. Patrick Yard is one man collecting the brown back from the PPP. How you gonna make him hold you back? You got family to feed. Ladies and gentlemen, look, the medical assistance program between Guyana and Cuba would have been terminated, right? You see what Irfaan Ali did to Cuba. Decades. Guyana and Cuba has been working together for decades. Those Cuban doctors and holistic health practitioners has been saviors to Guyana when no one else was there. No one else was there. You should not be worried about what disagreements any other country have with Cuba. That should not cause you to take a position. You can encourage engagement between those two, but to take a position that you're going to take the Cubans and just roll them under the bus, that's not fair. That's not right. And nobody can make that right. That's not an argument. I've said it here. That's not an argument. There's no way that you can take that and make it right. It's wrong. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Cuban doctors are hired directly by the Guyana government. And that there, when you're looking for your pay at the end of the month, I'm going to put it right here. That's playing Russian roulette. One bullet in the chamber, you just spin the barrel. Because you're going to go a lot of months without pay. Imagine that, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine that. Just imagine that. And James Bond come out and say that the opposition ain't looking for votes. They're only looking for cow and goat. Well, let me say this to you guys. And this is not Wayne Caesar's opinion. This is what I believe that the PPP, it's my belief, it's my opinion and my belief of what the PPP thinks of Guyanese. That you guys are a special type of stupid, a special type of dunce. That's what I believe the PPP thinks of Guyanese. Because if you can treat your people like this and continue to win elections, then it's either you got to be believing that something is wrong with your people or something is wrong with your people. PPP has no principle. They have no decorum. None. And as long as the Guyanese people continue to behave in the posture that they are behaving in today, the PPP will treat you guys like cockroaches in your own country. You will watch other people from the diaspora all around the world come in your country, able to acquire land and businesses, okay? and be a part of the development, what they call the development and transformation of your country, while you get to live without a piece of land to put a little house on for yourself and family. You get to live like an absolute lappy dog in your own country. And you know something? I want to tell you guys something. The diplomatic community is not going to do anything for you. I'm going to quote here, and I love this little writing here in Village Voice, because it aligns exactly with what I have been saying over and over right here. So people are watching the programs. I know that people are watching the programs. All right? It aligns with exactly what we've been saying here. Here is a nice little piece. I'm going to just do a little read off of it by Randy Gopal. He has a master's in political science. He does some writing on the Village Voice. And here he says, there is a storm gathering over Guyana, and the windows of the boardrooms and diplomatic missions are firmly shut. The private sector, the diplomatic corps, the foreign investors are listening to the rumble of discontent, yet they refuse to look up. They are silent while the People's Progressive Party wages a campaign that targets the very fabric. Ladies and gentlemen, he's correct. The very fabric of our society. But they are not silent because they are ignorant. They are silent because for now, the ledger balances. Right? Ladies and gentlemen, we talk about the bottom line, right? Return on investment, what you're able to extract and get away with. All right? And that's what this is all about. So, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about change in Guyana, you know who have to bring about change in Guyana? You, the people. You sit down. Every day you sit down. You allow the PPP to steal from you, to disregard, to disrespect you. That's what they're doing to you. All right? It is disrespectful what this government is doing to the citizens of Guyana. Absolutely disrespectful. My question tonight is, how long does the holistic opposition plan to sit down and tolerate this? Because yes, I have been seeing a lot of exposing. Everybody right now is in full exposure. All right? We have a preponderance of issues that have been exposed. Now, what do we do with this information? What is our position going to be? What is the game plan? Because we can't just keep exposing. All right? We just can't keep having programs like Over to You and all the programs out there, like talk shows. We can't get our Guyanese people just addicted to programs and it is all on the internet. What does it say? All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. When are we going to start playing? When are we going to start playing on the ground? That's the question. Because it can't continue this way. These guys ain't got no respect. This is a runaway train. Look what is happening in Guyana, and this guy gonna turn and say the opposition ain't looking for votes. They're only looking for cow and goat. Really? With all of this that is happening. We cannot sit down and continue with a narrative. Oh, the PPP is going to plant their people in the crowd. You go there and you're doing a peaceful process and the PPP plant their people in the crowd. You beat them. You beat them. I'm saying it right here. Nonsense. This government must not continue to sit there. And all who support this government, they're all hypocrites. Nonsense. They know this government. And you Guyanese who vote for this government, you all know this government. You guys didn't forget the extrajudicial killings from 92 right through? Did you forget? Did you get amnesia? I don't know about you guys, but I'll never forget. You can't tell me to forget Courtney Crum Ewing and Ronald Waddle. How you gonna tell me that? Peter Headley, or in Boston, in his bed naked with his wife? Really? After Irfan Ali would have visited that area and heard about how good a businessman Orrin Boston was? Y'all need to investigate that further. Y'all opening up other cases? Let's investigate that further. What really happened to Orrin Boston? What it was that caused him to get executed in his bed laying next to his wife? Everybody want to sit down. Like if all of a sudden they get amnesia or they get dunce or something. James Bond, you was a part of the opposition. You should be ashamed of yourself, man. Every time you walk, it's like you trample on people like Courtney Crum Ewing because you know the truth. You know the truth. Anil Nandalal, we have requested multiple times for you to provide us with a transparent update of what would have happened to our brother, Courtney Crum Ewing. I looked straight into this camera this evening and I asked you, his parents are still here. They need closure. They need closure. I'm not going to continue to ask you this question in this same format over and over again. The pressure is going to increase. Ladies and gentlemen, hear what is my take. Hear what is my take. You order a murder in Guyana, or you are somewhat tied to a murder in Guyana, you should be in jail. I don't care who sits in president, who's opposition leader, who's all this stuff. If you are tied to murder, you should be in jail. And to the people of Guyana who will sit down and worship a murderer, shame on you. Shame on you. Any human being that will sit down and worship a murderer, shame on you. You're a despicable human being. I say that right here. People who are authentic. People who've been in politics all their life. People who have shown that they're not corrupt. You bypass them. You look at Wayne Caesar. Oh, Wayne Caesar. Why? Because Wayne Caesar don't have the money. You worship money. You worship a human being with money. And you think that that is going to change your situation? Okay. Let's walk the walk and see if your situation will change. Let's walk the walk. All of you, you know yourselves. I don't have to call your name. You know yourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this to you tonight. And I appreciate all of you. You guys know when we come on this program over to you, your program, that we talk a different talk. All right? We talk a different talk here. We're not here to play. Ladies and gentlemen, we all have a shelf life. We're not going to be here forever. That is promised. But let me say this to each and every one of you here tonight, my brothers and sisters. For the time that we are here on this earth, let's have a positive impact. Let's leave a positive legacy for the young people who are to come behind us. right? I love all of you guys. And I love you even more because you guys are not a bunch of thieves. I got to love you guys. I got to love you guys. And you guys stand for what is right. That's what we are about. What is right. I'm not here to sit down and say, oh, I'm going to cry foul because I want a black government. I want an African Guyanese government. No, it ain't about that. So all of you guys out there, PPP supporters who like to take your ethnic position and your racial positions, don't start with me, wrong guy. I don't walk down those roads. A human being is a human being. Okay? A human being. Listen, hear this. We have a lot of dunce people. I'm going to say it's simple. We have a lot of dunce people in this world that looks at people pigmentation. And because of if your pigmentation is Caucasian, or whether your hair is straight and then your hair hard, oh, this person is bright. This person is bright. Them hard hair people, they ain't bright. You know? Or you identify another race, oh, they ain't bright. No, here what happen. Your analysis is coming from a big dunce. You don't understand. Color doesn't matter. Hair texture doesn't matter. We are all smart in our own way. All right? Some of us just want to play like we have amnesia though. Like if we want to get dunce sometime, especially when we know we involved in corruption. All of a sudden we know what's happening. When we thieving, we don't know what's happening. When you functioning. Or when I come back to Guyana, I'm going to show the Guyanese people how to farm. Farm where you don't thief 150 acres from the people you come in for teach them how to farm. You set up this whole transaction when you was Minister of Housing. If finally you're a thief. You're a thief. All right? There's a lot out there on you. You, the sitting president of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. You see, nobody don't want to talk about them. I gonna talk about y'all. So many women say they have to go into the Department of Housing. When they go into housing, they have to do all kind of things to you forget a piece of land. Where they could even describe certain things about you. You guys, you guys, and you people in Guyana sit down and call that man authentic. Something wrong, people. Y'all better wake up. This is not about ethnicity. This is not about voting along racial lines, guys. This is about issues that are affecting all Guyanese. Issues that are affecting all Guyanese. You guys know what's up. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. I got one of these accounts. It's called Snapchat. Is it Snapchat? I can't remember which one, man. But I know I got a Facebook, but I'm not into that stuff. But so all of a sudden, I don't know what I did on my phone, but I got some kind of an account. And my brother Gavin Caesar went into the account because I don't trouble none of them things. I'm not into that. I will look at Facebook. That's it. It stops there. And when you go into the account, Barry Jagdio is following me. Barry Jagdio, you don't need to follow me. You guys need to focus on the people of Guyana. You could stick to Rick Ford Bark and them. Don't come and follow me. You guys ain't able with me. None of you guys in the PPP can't be able with me. Send out any one of your little goons. Send them out. Send them out. Y'all ain't able. Y'all ain't able. What can the PPP say to defend themselves, ladies and gentlemen? There is nothing to say. There is nothing to say. And I want the Guyanese citizens to understand this government is a failure. And you know something? I got to give a lot of credit to the Guyanese people. You know why? You guys are getting ripped off. And none of you guys don't show up at people's borders trying to enter their country. And a lot of them rich countries ripping y'all to shreds. And y'all continue to stay right in Guyana, then take the punishment. Y'all don't show up at the border. And if y'all show up at the border, they're going to chase you like dogs while they're thieving all your resources out your country. Come on. And you know, people don't, you know something? People be like, oh, you this, or you anti this, or you don't know. There's right and there's wrong. There is right and there's wrong. All right? Simple. Simple. No gray area to play in. Right and wrong. You're in Guyana to do business. Let's stick within the scope of the international standards for that industry and how you should be conducting business. Let's stay within that scope. All right? And let's do it right. Instead of that, you're raping the Guyanese people. You're raping the Guyanese people. And they're good people. They're good people. Look what they've taken. What? We've been extracting oil, what? 6, 7 years? And Guyanese, you know, some of them didn't even understand what is happening. You've seen high rises going up. And you know what? You know what? Your sitting president, for as smart as he is, sits down and tell you guys, this is investment, this is transformation. I want Guyanese to ask the question, of all these big, tall, high rises, do we have any ownership in any of these things? Simple. Guyana is supposed to be your country. Guyana is supposed to be your country. Right? At one point I was saying, you know, maybe the government need to get into this hotel business and invest in a couple of hotels and stuff like that so that the Guyanese people them have something. But why? I wouldn't do anything really to benefit the people of Guyana when I can get that investor to come, attach that investor to one of my people, and we make money on a personal level. What the heck do I care about the Guyanese people? I am here, I am in place in this ministry to rob the Guyanese people. That's my sole purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, data would have just came out that Guyana has more than 1 million people. Can any one of you guys tell me where Anel Giddens is working these days? And we said it right on this program when we talk about statistics and Anel Giddens. He has just transferred his new position. All right? And Guyana already have over 1 million people. So in another 1.5 to 2 years, we're going to have 3 million people, ladies and gentlemen. All right? So much for the Guyanese people, especially the Guyanese of African descent, who thought that they would have get 2 shillings in their pocket because the nation that they would have lived in, punished in, went through floods, went through all the stuff, all right? Went through that 23 years under the PPP, plus this Force 5 going on 6 years, and I survived that. Well, here, there's not better to come without a change in government. There is only worse to come on the horizon for you guys. Worse. Nothing better. So again, I say to my Guyanese brothers and sisters, you know, as we look at time at 7:49, we don't, you know, we have so much that we just run through the time, right? I say this to my brothers and sisters on the ground in Guyana. You know, you guys, you wanna look at social media, look out your window to see your other brothers and sisters go there to protest or attempt to protest while you sit down inside and try to reap all the spoils or split the spoils when they go there and do the work. No, ladies and gentlemen, it has to be collective. Like I told you guys, I was stunned. I was stunned when I would have heard of the turnout that my good brother Kidaki Amsterdam had at Buxton there for the protest of the president's bill. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this to Guyanese, all on sundry. Please, guys, don't do that. Don't let that president's bill pass. All right? With all due respect to all the presidents on that list. All right? They don't deserve uncapped spending. They don't. All right, they don't. As this bill continues to be on the front burner, I'm going to talk more about it. And I believe that I'm going to call on names to come forward and say why they believe that that bill shouldn't go forward. And I'll call on the former presidents. All right? Because I believe, and I'll call a name, I believe that Comrade Granger is living quite comfortably. And if it is that he's living comfortably, then he should call this out. Right? At some point, ladies and gentlemen, we got to start speaking. We're not speaking, all right? We're not speaking up to certain things the way we should be speaking up, all right? And I'll tell you this, you guys going to hear a lot from me, and I'm going to always speak. You know why? Because whatever I do, whether it's my secular job or whether I'm doing this program, whatever I'm doing, it must be meaningful work. It must be meaningful work. I can contribute to this fight in so many ways. It doesn't have to be doing this program. But I am waiting to see the leadership get together and start giving everybody their assignments. I'm waiting to see that true, authentic leader, all right, grab the general opposition by the horn. I can simply tell you guys this, that Azadeh Mohammed is not that person. Simple. Look, I have nothing against Azadeh Mohammed. All I would like to know is how they would have gotten their wealth. All right, how they would have gotten what they've gotten. I'm a public accountant. Of course, I'm going to want to know that, right? And I would want to know about Paper Shorts and Ryan Passad. I think that's where I am going to stop when it comes to Azadeh Mohammed. Once clarity can be given on those three items, and he can prove himself to be a leader of the people, a leader that is capable of, because remember, ladies and gentlemen, this opposition, all right, is loaded with intelligent people, a lot of doctors, a lot of this. Azadeh Mohammed, it ain't gonna be easy leading those people, man. There's not your security team. There's not the people that just work for y'all. These are intellectuals. I know everybody like to jump up and say, oh, we need to get intellectuals out of politics. We need to get these intelligent people out. No, you don't. No, you don't. Azadeh Mohammed cannot survive on the world stage. They'll chew him up and spit him out, man. You think Azadeh Mohammed could go and sit at the UN? I know a lot of you going to say that Irfan Ali could go there and sit down, so Azadeh could go and say, no, man. Understand why Irfan Ali could sit there, why he's giving a seat there. Because he's selling Guyana wealth out. All right? He's supported by the big boys already. That's why he get a little seat there. But us, Guyana, on the international scene, we're at a big deficit. When you don't have guys like Comrade Winston Jordan, Dr. Adams, and these guys, Comrade Greenwich, and these guys out there, even Comrade Norton, you gotta have them, Christopher Ram. These are the guys, come on, these guys are geniuses. You want them there doing the work. And look, I just called some names there. Hey, you guys know something? All them names I just called, none of them is involving corruption. None of them is involving corruption. That's why I like. Don't bring no corruption to me. Don't bring somebody. Don't bring a candidate to me with a full suitcase of baggage. Why want with that? And there's the way the Guyanese people ought to be thinking. Y'all mystified by people and their cars and this and that, and everybody driving big car. Even Ashley Singh. All of them guys driving big car. Ashley Singh, you and Frank Anthony, y'all need to come together and fix the healthcare system, man. All right? Diamond Hospital. Yeah, you guys remember Diamond Hospital is the hospital where that girl had the asthma, the young 20-year-old. have the asthma, went in there. They had to give a hooker up on the breathing tank and all of that. They didn't have oxygen. She died. Diamond Hospital. Dr. Campbell also disclosed Diamond Hospital. You can't see a doctor after 3. Guyanese supposed to be able to see doctors 24/7. Fastest growing economy. You guys playing games. Playing games with over 7 trillion, almost 8 trillion in spending over the last 6 years. Really? Really? But ladies and gentlemen, the PPP will continue to do what they want to do. Look, the Public Accounts Committee is not even meeting, nothing. But here, the opposition, I'll call it the collective opposition, has pushed a lot of information out there. I want to see if they will sit on that information or if we're going to have countrywide protests, because that is the road that I would want to be heading down. And to the collective opposition, and specifically the APNU, come on, guys. Yeah, I got to get security, man. Yeah, got to get security so that y'all activists that is out in the diaspora could come and hit the ground and make impacts for y'all. You guys can't sit down there and think that you guys could do it all. Sometimes it is also who the Guyanese people want to see and who they want to hear from. I'll come and I know that the people will meet and greet me. I don't have to ask questions. I know that the people will come and meet me. Look, man, it's not about doing this work, specifically. It's about being true to what you're doing. All right? Nobody can call me about the people of Guyana. No. I don't want anything. What I want to see every Guyanese have a good life. I want to see all our children get the ability to pass CSEC, to do well on Common Entrance. I want to see all our children get the opportunity in primary school, a fair shot at getting into President College, Bishop's QC, and all them big schools. I want to see all of them get a fair shot, not a proportion of them, but all of them. And seeing that the exam would have just been finished and the grades would have just been given out, I want to congratulate all the students that got into Bishops and Queens College and St. Joseph's and all of these President College and all the big schools. But those other students that didn't get those big schools, that got other schools, I want to say this to you. Hold your head up. The journey has just begun. It's not a journey for the swift. The journey is for those who have endurance. All right? And we all mature at different points in our lives. All right? We all mature at different points in our lives. Not because somebody got Queens College, it means that they're smarter than you. No. Don't think so. Hold your head up and keep working hard. Hold your head up and keep working hard. I promise you that you are going to be sitting at the same table with some of those people, or you might be sitting at the table 30 stories up from them. Trust me, put in the work. You will see the reward. Practice. Okay? Practice makes perfect. All right? Don't down your head. And parents, don't be disappointed in your children. Hug them. Show them love. Congratulate them on their performance, whether it was what you expected or not. All right? We got to start loving these children. All right? We got to start giving them attention. Ladies and gentlemen, I know there's a bike drive that is going on. I don't even know if I should be bringing this out, but I know there's a bike drive that's going to be going on that I'm going to be participating in, because I'm going to donate. I want our children to be able to get to school and get back home. You understand me? I want parents to be able to save a couple of bucks in their pocket. You understand me? That maybe you could put some some more food on the table, some more healthier, nutritional food on the table for that child who is in school and studying. All right? And to all the participants on the highways and byways in Guyana, our children are going to be cycling back and forth to school and back home. Please drive carefully. Drive carefully. All right? Don't strike them down. Don't strike them down and think that they don't have representation. Because I promise you that I'm going to be there to represent them. I'm going to make sure that they are well represented. Drive carefully. Allow our children to use be able to use the road to get to school and get back home. Brothers and sisters, look at how the time does fly on us. It's 8:01. It's 8:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the US, and I'm sure it's 8:01 in Guyana also. Brothers and sisters, I thank you guys so much for engaging this evening. I didn't get to look at your comments tonight as much as I would like to, but trust me, if you guys got comments in there that needs my response, I will be responding on tomorrow's program. We are back here tomorrow for 1 hour. All right? On over to you. Ladies and gentlemen, next weekend, we will not have any program next weekend. Okay? I'll be spending some time away with the family next weekend, so we wouldn't have any program next Saturday and Sunday. All right? But we're going to be back the following Saturday and Sunday, and we will continue, brothers and sisters, in this fight. It's a chance that you'll see me sometime in the week next week. All right? Until then, brothers and sisters, until tomorrow, I love you, I love you, I love you. Let's keep our heads up. Let's keep our heads up. All right? Again, the fight is not for the swift. I know that we have endurance, and I know in the end, we will be successful in this fight. I love you, brothers and sisters. Until tomorrow, over to you. Good night. Continue to enjoy your weekend. See you guys tomorrow. Good night.